General Kenobi.
I'm not starting. No.
Because I started off with hello there. And the other one.
Are you doing like secret messages through the beginning of the
it's
podcast?
just funny because that's like the most memed scene of all Star Wars.
But you realize that, okay. This is the Nolan and Fletcher podcast experience.
Just call it the Nolan and Fletcher podcast.
The Nolan and Fletcher podcast, possibly experience.
Not though.
Not though, but maybe.
Episode 1.
Episode 1, the Waffle House Weather Index. And cheers! So, Fletcher, how much do you know about the Waffle House Weather Index already?
That's the part from Salmonella.
What did they state in the part from Salmonella? I forget.
Like, if it's normal, then Waffle House is normal, and like if there's a hurricane, then like tornadoes and all that bad stuff, then Waffle House goes in like reserve power, and then if everyone's dead, Waffle House closes. I think that's what I heard.
Okay.
I don't really remember.
Okay, that's that's pretty much it. But I'm gonna go into
Episode over. The end.
I'm gonna go in a little bit more depth about that. Okay, so the Waffle House Weather Index. Actually, no, I want to start a different way. So, do you know FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency?
I did not.
Okay, well, so it's one of the branches of the government, or not branches of the government. That's Congress.
Is it like OSHA?
Blah blah blah. No, it's I don't know what it is, but it's one of the departments.
You know, one of the OSHA subsections is like subsection R, part 3, steel erections.
Wait, like they're made out of steel, or they're stealing?
It's like a whole section about steel erections and how you handle those with care and like to not get dead.
Wait, oh my god. Okay.
Sorry, just a little bit of side knot.
Okay, well, FEMA is a department in the government that's the Federal Emergency Management Agency. And I didn't really know what they did, to be honest, so I looked it up. And they are in charge of the federal government's response to natural or man-made disasters. Nukes, tornadoes, hurricanes, 2 tsunamis.
Did I tell you about my Spanish substitute?
No, we're not talking about your Spanish substitute right now.
Okay, I'll tell you later.
So the FEMA, you might know them as they shit. You might know them as shit.
I mean, so are most parts of the government, right?
Damn it, Fletcher. No politics.
I'm allowed to make jabs at the government.
All right. As long as it's a joke. So the Doppler radar is one of the more well-known and more sophisticated way of determining how bad a storm is or has been or will be. That's the same thing it is.
Is that the one where they named the storms like people?
That is the one where they named the storms like people, I believe. It is used. The Doppler radar is from the National Weather Service, which is also recognized by FEMA and is held in high esteem. It's did you ever have one of those walkie-talkie sets when you were a kid, and then you changed the channel, and it was the dude, and he was like, this is the National Weather Service. There's a tornado headed for Florida. I know that you live in Tennessee, but here's a tornado list for Florida.
Imagine being killed by Hurricane Karen.
Okay.
Sorry. Once you mentioned walkie-talkies, I started zoning out.
Okay, well, so FEMA, they have a bunch of stuff. However, sometimes FEMA does come up with some odd measuring methods, such as the Waffle House Index. The Waffle House, I know you know what it is, but for the
listeners,
for the 2 listeners, one half of them might not know.
Wait a minute, there's 2 of us.
The 2 listeners.
Just the 2 of us. We can make it if we try. Just the 2 of us. All right. Okay, now I feel like a jackweed. It's all right. I do that all the time.
Waffle House is a 24-hour diner. Ari Shapiro, the host of All Things Considered, which is an NPR show, once said the threshold for them to close, in reference to Waffle House, is extremely high, making it a good measurement of a storm's severity.
Imagine being in like the middle of like a earthquake, and you're like, you know what I can do? I'd go for some blueberry waffles. I'm gonna go to Waffle House. The best, obviously the best. I mean, there's not really other restaurants you would think like, oh, let's go get a waffle there. But do you really want to be going to the Waffle House? I mean, I'm not gonna be hating on Waffle House. I mean, Trevor, at the Waffle House in your Spring Hill, I love you, but Waffle House itself is just typically a gross place.
Okay, so the spokesman for Waffle House, Pat Warner, said on that same show, if we're opening quickly, that's I don't actually, you know what? I don't know if he said that on the show, if it was just a recording. I read the transcript. If we're opening quickly, that's a good sign the community is going to come back together. If we're on a limited menu, it's probably because we're what? It's probably because we're have some utilities out.
Does Bruno Mars is gay?
It's probably because we're have some utilities. This dude does not speak right.
No, are you sure it's not you? I
quoted this. I swear to God, I copied and pasted his quote.
Is it a quacky quote?
It is. It's a. I think you mean quirky. I'm going to start over the quote. If we're opening quickly, that's a good sign the community is going to come back quickly. If we're on a limited menu, that's probably because we have some utilities out. So it's going to take a bit longer for that community to come back together, said Waffle House spokesman Pat Warner. What? End quote.
There you go. You don't want to have the whole rest of the podcast be a quote by this guy.
Right.
So you could have just said, we have some facilities or whatever it was, instead we're have.
But that's what he said.
I'm pretty sure that's not what he said.
It's what he said. You know what? I'm going
to
the NPR
It's
thing.
all right. It's all right. You win. Just
okay.
Keep talking normal.
So Fletcher, do you think that the Waffle House, to see if a Waffle House is open or not, is a good way to see if a community is going to come back strong after like a hurricane?
No, because only the worst members of the community go to Waffle House.
How dare you? How absolutely dare you?
This is why you're not going to survive the apocalypse.
It's a fine establishment. While it's not the best or most sophisticated way to see how a community is doing, I believe it's one of the more funny ways. Do you think it's funny?
When did we make the fort? I don't remember making the fort that we're in.
Shut up, Fletcher.
Sorry. Do I believe it's effective?
Do you?
I don't. You told me I can't talk political, so I'm not even going to touch that one. Okay, I'm not going to touch that.
Do you think it's funny? Do you think it's funny how the government recognizes the Waffle House being open or closed as a good way to see if the community's coming back together?
I can tell you it's a sign of why we're obese.
That's sadly probably a good point. Okay, so the Waffle House Index has 3 colors: green, red, and yellow. Sorry, I should have said green, yellow, red. If the Waffle House is in the green, that means that they have a normal menu with normal power. Then the theory is that the community will come back quickly. The area that the Waffle House has lost power, the restaurant might have limited to no power, and the menu will be limited as a result. Then the community might take a while to recover. That is known as red. No, yellow. That is yellow if it has low power. If the Waffle House is closed, that's red. In other words, there is no community anymore. You have to rebuild society in that area.
Secret color they also have is the black color. That's when the aliens decided to wipe out the entire planet because they realized how gross Waffle House was. They just lasered it out of existence. So.
Do you hate Waffle House, Fletcher?
I'm not saying I hate Waffle House.
It seems like
you said I couldn't talk political.
It's not political. I'm gonna slap you.
Pretty sure Waffle House is like a whole political party. Don't they have like a candidate each year in the presidency? The president election?
I have no clue. Another thing that I found interesting was the Waffle House Storm Center.
Is that like their bunker? Do they have their own bunker?
Okay, so basically, in their headquarters in Norcross, Georgia, so they have this one room that can seal up completely, and it's like it has like armored walls, and it's in the center of the building, not like height wise, but girth wise. It's in the center.
It's a very girthy building, is what you're saying.
It's a very girthy building, and in the middle of the building, I think I believe it's underground. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But it's like a room, and it's got like metal paneling and stuff. But in the words of the same dude, Pat Warner, a conference room in a building that suddenly turns into a military-level operations room filled with company engineers, restaurant operators, food safety experts, meteorologists, and more.
Why the hell does Waffle House need that? Like, no one's going to be raiding the Waffle House secret recipe. You just throw some stuff on a
No. This is specifically for the weather.
It's a little rainy outside, so you go to the military base?
Yep. shut it all down.
Screw you, Waffle House. Do you realize how many taxpayer dollars you're wasting? I'm sorry, can't talk political. Never mind. I'm sorry.
They're not a government institution.
Pretty sure they are if they have their own weather system.
I'm gonna slap you upside the head. I just want to hit you so
and then
bad.
you'll have it recorded, and I can use it as evidence in the court.
Exactly.
And I will have all of your money. And you know what I can buy?
My $12 that I have
at
in my...
IHOP, which is objectively better than Waffle House. Now continue.
Okay.
Why did the phone activate?
Because you're angering it. I don't know. Somebody probably texted me.
Well, don't interrupt the podcast for it.
It's okay, Fletcher.
Yeah, we can cut it out. You're right.
Oh, it was just somebody texting me. I will text them back later.
All right, yeah.
If they hear this podcast, I'm sorry. I wanted to text you back, but this is time consuming and time sensitive. Not really though. So where was I?
Something about government.
Yeah, the Waffle House is
government.
not a government institution. It is a private industry run by privates.
You were about to say president, weren't you?
I was not about to...
Waffle. So is the government. The government's main goal is to make money. Waffle House's main goal is to make money.
Waffle House's main goal is to be a place where people can gather and eat food. 'Tis not a Waffle House, but a Waffle Home.
When I went to Waffle House with my dad, Trevor, our server guy, he was like new and he was like real nervous and stressful and stuff. So he was like taking our order and such. And he has like the only 3 other employees who were there just like right up next to him, hounding him like, hey, you gotta do it this way. You gotta do it this way, man. Come on. You gotta ask him how to do this. You gotta do it this way first. Remember to get those spoons. Even though we're eating waffles, you don't eat spoons with waffles. And then there was a woman who at one point was a guy. And that's all I remember. That's the last bit.
She transgendered in the middle of her shift.
She's just like...
Yeah, last time I was there was one of the employees just kept making pies. He just kept like cutting up slices of pies and then putting whipped cream on them. And then by the time we left, there was 12 uneaten pie slices with whipped cream, like fully decked out, like they had the fancy chocolate shavings on them, just sitting on the counter.
Do you think he was like getting ready for an order that they got or something? Or
I don't know, because he would just... It looked like he did it every time that he didn't have anything to do.
Just like practicing.
Maybe he was practicing. Maybe that was like his main problem. Anyways.
His compulsive disorder. What's the thing? Compulsive...
compulsive...
Something
OCD.
disorder.
OCD.
Okay.
Wait, no, that's not... Because it doesn't start
The
with a C.
original compulsive disorder. OCD.
Okay. That's not OCD at all, though. So the main purpose of the Waffle House storm...
Most people in the Waffle House look like the first half of an antidepressant commercial. Alright. Go on with your story, Nolan. That's a bit of a jest. The musings of Fletcher.
The purpose of the Waffle House Storm Center is to feed information about the storms to the, and I quote, leadership in the field. I don't know why I quoted that. So if a storm was predicted to hit Florida, the vice president and executive vice president in charge of the diners in Florida...
Wait, president?
Vice president.
Vice president, either way.
The vice president, whose name is not Mike Pence... Wait, actually, he might be. You never know. He
Might work at Waffle House.
He
That's
could
how
own a Waffle
his
House.
Career.
That could be. The Florida vice
Probably
president and executive vice president in charge of the diners in Florida would be given as much information as possible so they could prepare for the storm days in advance. The Waffle
What do you mean prepare? What do you need to prepare?
Extra food, generators, which I'll get to in a second.
I would rather starve than have my last meal be a Waffle House.
Dude, I would love to have my last meal be at Waffle House.
Like, do they even... have you had their hash browns?
Their hash browns are
My
good,
God, they're
man.
like...
You gotta get them, what's it, with the onions? Get them with the onions?
Is it onions like little like when you have onions in like on a burger? No, wait, onions on a burger, you have them like the full like round like, dice.
This one's
it's
chopped
like
up.
little tiny little
Yeah.
little baby onions.
Yeah.
Those
Like
ones I
the
always end
onions.
up like Like if I have spaghetti, which is sometimes where I have those like little tiny baby onions, I'll end up eating the rest of the food and like the onions just avoid my teeth somehow, and then eventually it's just onions in my mouth. I don't know how that happens, and it grosses me out.
I love Waffle House onions.
Oh, because they're onions.
Just the onions.
specifically
Just
good.
the onions. I'll order hash brown